So bass are a lot smarter than we think they are. Bass is a very unique creature in the world in which it lives, and the way that it processes the world around it is very different than us, but also makes it the ultimate predator in its environment. I mean, tens of thousands of years of adaptation have turned the bass into a true blue killing machine. A bass is really good at like a few things: eating, making babies, and every single year they make millions of babies and they eat millions of things as a whole population, and it's what has kept them on earth for as long as they've been here. Also, a bass's ability to adapt to so many varying different water temperatures, water depth, water clarities, current, no current, stagnant ponds to giant Great Lakes has made the bass North America's most popular game fish because of just the biodiversity it's able to withstand in all the different environments it is able to not only live in, eat in, and make babies in, but also thrive in. I mean, you put a bass into a pond, or a couple bass into a pond, or a couple bass into a lake, and it is amazing what they can do in just a couple of years. You can go from no bass to a pond completely just infected with bass, we'll say, and inundated with bass because of their ability to be able to survive, to live, to eat, and to do amazing things. Another thing about a bass that's absolutely fascinating is how it perceives the world around it. Because one thing that you have to consider, and the one thing that you got to get through your mind, is that you're not a bass and you don't see the world like they do. Because the bass sees and experiences the world in a completely different, I mean, essentially like universe than we do. Obviously, they're in the same universe, but the plane of existence that they live in is inside the water. And the way that light and sound and smell and taste translates through water is completely different than how we experience those things. And so a bass's ability to adapt and learn its environment through sight, smell, taste, and sound is completely different than ours. I mean, a bass, when it comes to smell, can smell small particulates in huge amounts of water. Actually, Mark Sexton over at Berkeley Labs talked about this. I forgot this exact statistic, but they were putting like nanograms of material into the water, and they could see the bass's reaction and see that the bass could smell that and be able to go to it. So a bass's nose is incredibly more sensitive than ours is. I mean, it's even 1,000 times more sensitive than even a dog's nose. That has been proven by science, which is absolutely incredible. A bass's sight is way better than ours. A bass actually sees in a fish eye lens. So if you imagine like the old school skateboarding videos where you had these super wide angles, that's actually where they get the name of that, is fish eye. The bass actually sees like that. So the bass can almost see 360 degrees around its body. So anything that moves within its eyesight, a bass can key in on, and actually once it gets near it, the bass's vision can change, and it can go from the fish eye to telescopic, meaning it can roll its eyes to the front of its head and be able to see directly in front of it and be able to prey on whatever it has swam over to that it saw with its fish eye. It can change its eye orientation and actually be able to focus in on something and be able to eat it. Another thing a bass can do is taste. They taste things kind of like we taste things. If it gets something in its mouth that it goes, I don't like this, even though a bass doesn't think, if its instincts tell us this is something that we don't want or that we don't like, it'll spit it right back out, and it can spit it out faster than you can blink your eye, which is absolutely incredible. And that's why I think it's super important to have baits that not only smell right, but taste right as well, because a bass can suck it in and make a determination whether it likes it faster than you can blink your eye, and it can spit it right back out. And then the last thing the bass does is it has a sense that we don't have. We have sight, we have sound, we have smell, we have taste. We also have feel. Bass feels with its mouth. It doesn't have hands, so it eats with its hands. But it also has another sense that we don't have. It has a lateral line, and that lateral line can sense pressure changes up to 3 body lengths away. So if you've got a 20-inch fish up to 60 inches away, that fish can sense pressure changes in the water so minute that we wouldn't even be able to feel it. They can feel all these little pressure changes. They know when bluegill are around them, or bait fish are around them, or when there's a crawdad on their bottom, or when you're reeling a bait past them. They have this sense, and that sense translates straight to their brain, and then they use their sight, their sense of smell, and their taste to determine whether they want to eat something. And so a bass really is kind of smarter than we think it is, but it's also a little bit dumber than we think it is as well. You know, they have a brain about the size of your thumbnail. They're just not that smart. They're totally driven on instincts. And if you want to see more about why fish are dumber than we think, click this video that's popping up right here.